There have been some very excellent discussions, debates today, and I'll be contributing to that from the UN perspective very shortly. We in the United Nations tend to work very closely with the governments, but more and more we also want to make sure that all parts of the society, different sectors, including private sector, is engaged to take action. So each one of us have to do more in terms of becoming more ambitious to take action to reverse the threat of climate change.
On behalf of Institute of Directors India, very warm welcome to all of you to the 21st World Congress on Environment Management and Climate Change being held in your beautiful city of Bengaluru. We will be moving towards the President address now, and to do that, I would like to request Lieutenant General J.S. Ahluwalia, President of Institute of Directors India, to please come on the dais and say a few words.
Just a few words about the Institute of Directors. It's a sole apex organization of corporate directors in India. It's a not-for-profit organization. Its main purpose is to prepare board-ready directors and to prepare future-ready boards. These are the main purpose for which it exists. So it provides training to directors at all levels, independent directors, women directors, and the thing. Provides networking opportunities, like you saw London Convention or even the convention here. We have about 7 to 8 international conferences a year just to provide networking so that they can share each other's success stories, problems, and see how to move forward. Next part is one of our important part is the quality. The quality in whatever we do, to see that they are the best in every way. So we are having a Golden Peacock Awards, which are, because only competition brings out the best in all of us, whether it is individual or organizations or country, and that is why this Golden Peacock Awards over the last 28 years has really made a lot of difference. And today we have, starting with the Quality Award, we have 15 different awards for various corporate functional vertical areas.
At this moment, I just want to say that BEML is the only Indian manufacturer of prestigious metro trains in India. So we make approximately 200 metro cars. The total metro cars running in India presently to the tune of 3,000 to 3,500. Half of the metro cars were built by BEML in the factory right here in Bangalore. These products are not harming the atmosphere of Bangalore. Probably they are using the electricity. Electricity is generated in thermal plants, but thermal plants have better control over the emissions. So our main 50% of the business, our business comes from metro trains, and these metro trains are highly environment friendly. Not only that, these metro trains and all our electrical products, we use what is called a regenerative braking. So what happens when metro train travels or the electric equipment travels, when we apply the brake, the motors which run the equipment, suddenly they become generators. They use the braking, that energy from the brakes, they generate the energy back and it will be fed to the system. So there is a further efficiency of 10% of these equipments. When customers use this equipment, they feel it, they get this efficiency in the energy. So what is our aim? The products which are being used by the customers, they should not have a bad effect on the environment. At the same time, the processes, the operations we are using in converting raw materials to these products also will not have bad effect on the environment. So this is the main aim of our organization.
Energy cost in the future will be near zero, like sunlight. How do you make that energy cost near zero? In fact, I was in Madhya Pradesh, last week, and the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh came to inaugurate a rooftop system in the Central Police Academy in Bhopal. You won't imagine the cost of rooftop solar with 30% subsidy, of course, has come down to 1 rupee 38 paisa. But 1 rupee 38 paisa per unit of energy is okay. But what is more beautiful is that this 1 rupee 38 paisa remains constant for next 25 years. Now imagine after 25 years, what is the value of this 1 rupee 38 paisa? It is near zero cost. Even today we get $150 billion globally invested in solar. But then the question is, does it go to the countries who need it most, small island countries, where actually they say that sunlight is oil in the air? Does it go to the LDCs? So one of the purpose or objectives of ISA is to see that investment, employment generation, creation of more energy and affordable energy sources is equally spread like sunlight all over the globe. To carry out this, and to bring down the cost of energy, Solar Alliance has taken some concrete measures.
I am happy to tell you that Karnataka has already reached this 40% cumulative electric power installed capacity from non-fossil fuels target that has been set by the United Nations. As of now, Karnataka has more than 40% of its installed electric capacity from renewable energy like solar energy and wind energy. In fact, I am also happy to inform you that Karnataka is the state has the highest solar installed capacity among all states in the country in India. We are also very conscious of the need for preserving our forests and wildlife. The success of our efforts to preserve our forests is that every year our forest cover in Karnataka is increasing as reported by the Forest Research Institute of India based on satellite imagery.
I will request Shri Deshpande ji to say a few words.
It's a proud privilege for me this morning to be here among you. The subject before us has become a concern in the entire world. Just now, we heard the learned speakers who informed you about the effects of the climate change, the steps which are being taken. And as far as the Karnataka is concerned, our Chief Secretary also informed the initiatives Karnataka has taken. A situation has arisen. If initiatives are not taken to protect, conserve the environment and ecology, I think the future is very bleak. So it becomes a duty of every human being to cooperate and involve himself in this pious duty. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Lots going on between countries around the world and Karnataka in particular, because Karnataka is one of the leading states in India in terms of trying to develop a sustainable energy future, and we're happy to be partners with Karnataka in a range of areas, including kind of work on the Pavagada solar power stations and on trying to kind of develop a key tool, the 2050 Karnataka State Energy Tool, which will help identify where we can move to a sustainable energy future.
I was presenting Israel's success in water field. Basically, we became from a country with water scarcity, we became to a country which exports water. And this was done really because of our leadership that worked very hard and insist and pushed the ecosystem to do it. It's done, by the end of the day, most of it is done by private companies, private innovative companies that come up with ways to recycle water and desalination plants and irrigation, micro-irrigation systems, and developing new strains of plants that consume less water.
I think it's very good to have this alliance of government and industry and NGOs, because at the end of the day we're talking about climate change. What is important is to bring together a lobby against climate change and a lobby for implementing these sustainable development goals. Before I forget, we are joining India and working together for the International Solar Alliance very soon.
We play a unique role to work on, to provide the solutions to the problems which climate change and the environment change brings about. That is prevention and mitigation, the treatment of the diseases. So discovering the new diseases, the kind of the diseases are changing because the climate is changing, environment is changing, and therefore there's a need to bring out newer and newer drugs, and that's where the pharmaceutical industry plays a role.
The population is growing and the demand on resources is growing. So our consumptions are growing for everything. So as we reduce the thermal energy and grow renewable, but at the same time we are growing the consumption. So we have to be mindful of how we bring in the circular economy into this. So energy efficiency is not the only thing, even resource efficiency is an important landmark for all of us.
These kind of workshop and international seminars that IOD has put together actually brings in the stakeholders right from public policy makers, senior bureaucrats, experts into the same room to look what can possibly be done to avoid this whole process. Energy efficiency is something that all of us can do in a small bit. For example, don't use electricity when you don't need it. Use more efficient energy using products so that you get the same level of service but you avoid and reduce energy use.
This session is basically that how we are going to use the technology as a tool to handle these kind of issues, and all the different stakeholders in the urban area, how it can be brought on a single platform so that we can work together to bring a sustainable urban growth in our country, which is very much necessary for the commitment which have been given by our country in the Paris Agreement.
My main philosophy, that is ancient philosophy, comes from Panchabhutas, that is the earth, wind, water, fire and space. This is what always we believed as from the childhood or from our ancient generation. Enhancing the common good for all beings. That means not only for the human beings, for all beings on the earth. They have a right to live in this global village.
We see the executives from various other organizations coming here and sharing their experiences and the good work they have done. I'm also glad to see that amount of work they have done in the respective industries and in protecting the environment, and it's sure that the most burning issue today, and Dynamatics is not lagging behind. We have done everything that can save the water and reduce the pollution and grow green everywhere.
As of now, no clear-cut forward path seems to have emerged because a number of technologies have to come to commercialization, have to come to fruition before we can go anywhere near the targets that we need to meet in a very short period of time. So events like this, we hope, will highlight the importance of everyone participating in it, all the stakeholders, both producers, consumers.
We would like to invite onto the dais Mr. R. Madhavan, Chairman and MD of HAL, to say a few words to our audience.
We have been, before the CSR became mandatory for the industry, we have been doing our bit towards the environment. And we feel that since industry is generally one of the major contributors to environmental degradation in the sense that they pollute, they use a lot of energy, we have been always thinking of how to reduce our intake from these natural resources. This year itself, we have put in about 110 crores for developing wind energy, and about the same amount, 94 crores for developing solar energy. To the extent that we are already 50% of my energy resources in Bangalore comes from these sources. We expect that within another 2 to 3 years, we will be more than 80% of the grid, in the sense that we will be making these, creating these sources of energy ourselves. We are also into water harvesting, and moreover, through the CSR funds, we have been rejuvenating the river basins in and around Karnataka.
With a huge round of applause, let's welcome onto the dais for a few words Chairman of IOD National Advisory Council, Honorable Justice M.N. Venkatachalya.
I've been associated with the IOD almost since its inception. The pertinence of this remark is that I have watched with enormous amount of concern and interest the kind of changes that have occurred in the corporate complexion of the whole corporate world. Imperceptibly, some changes that have occurred on account of the back pressure of events outside our control. The technology today, somebody very pithily put it, the world is no longer divided by ideology, it is divided by technology. Only 15% of the world is technologically innovative. 50% of the world is able to absorb the technologies. Rest of the 35% is technologically disconnected. And large tracts of India are technologically disconnected. But surprisingly, compensatingly, other areas show a tremendous capacity for absorption of the new technologies. And how beautiful it will be if you corporates contribute to the philosophy which will contribute to the development of a world where members of this beautiful human society include birds, trees, plants, and everything inside it. Thank you very much for your patience.
Moving on to now the presentation ceremony of the Golden Peacock Awards, and this is for the sector engineering. The winner is Praj Industries Limited, Pune. Next is the sector of petrochemical, and the winner is Alok Master Batches Private Limited, New Delhi. Next is the sector of power, and the winner is Divyesh Power Private Limited. In the sector of engineering, the award goes to Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited, Kolhapur. Winner in the category of mining and metallurgy is Bharat Aluminium Company Limited, Korba. And now moving on to the sector of paper, the winner in this category is Tamil Nadu Newsprint and Papers Limited, Karur. The sector of automobile, Hyundai Motor India Limited, Sri Perumbadur. Next up is the sector of mining and metallurgy, and the winner is National Aluminium Corporation Limited, Panchpatli. Moving on to the oil production sector, and the winner is Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited, New Delhi. Moving on to the petrochemical sector, the Golden Peacock in the sector goes to Reliance Industries Limited, Vadodara Manufacturing Division. Now, Golden Peacock under the automobile sector goes to Tata Motors Limited, Mumbai. Now, moving on to a very special award under the Golden Peacock Occupational Health and Safety category. This is for the sector of logistics and goes to TriStar Group, UAE.
As a city urban transport organization, BMTC is one of the pioneers in the country, and not only the country, in the world also. So we have around 6,500 buses, and we move around 4 million people daily. So this kind of climate change impact has a direct association with us. So that organization has to move towards green initiatives and introduce better technologies, introduce new technologies like electric vehicles and reduce the carbon footprint so that cities breathe easily and the air quality increases.
Today we are very proud to have received this prestigious award of Golden Peacock. It is not that BHEL is receiving it first time, but it makes a very important occasion because we have received it for climate change management as well as environment management on that issue. Since beginning, we are a member of the UN Global Compact, and we have been associated with many green initiatives.
It's an honor to be getting this Golden Peacock Award, which is being given in the area of environment and sustainability. So we were one of the people in mines and metals. We got on energy conservation and resource utilization. We have started creating state-of-the-art technology. We have brought it. For example, we are doing 100% fully graphitized cathodes that we are using. We have also put the port controller, which is state-of-the-art technology, so by which we have been able to reduce close to 10% energy in our ports.
This is a very good forum where the major industries as well as organizations who are working towards the improvement and the climatic issues, the climate change after the Paris Convention in 2015. India also has committed to reduce the environmental temperature reduction by 2 degrees centigrade, and we are also have given a commitment to go into solar or other kind of renewables in a large way.
So I think how do we build and how do we sustain cities? And if you look some of the challenges in front of our cities, the air quality is a big challenge, availability of water is a big challenge, and the most understated challenge today in the world is the non-availability. The world is running out of sand, and I think sand is another big challenge the world is facing. I think so we have to understand how do we actually build cities and how do we live in cities which are sustainable in nature.
Today we had an opportunity to speak about the UN Sustainable Development Goals and linkage to EMA. So today as a panelist, my responsibility to make ensure people are aware of antimicrobial resistance with also respect to the environment. And I think there was a very nice response to this, and overall there were very good discussion with various sector companies on the UN Sustainable Development Goal, that how they can build it from start to the end.
Coming from Rainforest Alliance in UK, we're an international organisation that's particularly interested in the question of environment and climate change as it affects the agricultural sector and particularly small growers. And I'm looking forward to actually talking about that with some colleagues and speakers, but we also need to be thinking about the producers and the impacts on them of the environment and climate change, so many of India's agricultural producers being small-scale farmers.